أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamualikum All. Last class we have finished the tenses of verbs. Today we will go to the second characteristic of a verb, that is i'rab of a verb. So what is an i'rab? I'rab is a state of a word. So here it is verb. So i'rab is a state of a verb. Similar to nouns, verb also shows three states. That is the past tense. Nouns, similar to nouns, verbs also shows three states, that is marfu, mansub and majzoom. In nouns we have seen marfu, mansub and majroor, but in verbs we will see marfu, mansub and majzoom state. So let us see what are the verbs which are declinable and the verbs which are non-declinable. If you see past tense is non-declinable, so it comes under the category of mabni. That is fe'lul mudari comes under the category of mabni, that it is non-declinable. Now imperative tense or the command verb is also non-declinable, that is it is mabni. That is fe'lul amr is also mabni, that it is non-declinable. That means it do not show any change in its case ending, in its word ending. Now coming to present tense or the future tense, that is the fe'lul mudari. Fe'lul mudari is the only verb which is declinable, that is it comes under the category of mu'rab, that is it is declinable. So here verbs, there are total 14 forms of a verb. There are 14 seghas of a verb. Any verb has 14 seghas. In fe'lul mazi, that is the past tense. In fe'lul mudari, that is the present tense or the future tense, you have got 14 forms or there are 14 seghas. Out of these 14 seghas, 12 seghas of fe'lul mudari are mu'rab, that is they are declinable. Only 2 seghas or only 2 forms of fe'lul mudari are mabni, that is they are non-declinable. So the three states of a verb of fe'lul mudari are marfu, mansub and majzoom state, not the majroor state. In nouns we have seen majroor state, but in verbs we will see the majzoom states. The marfu and the mansub states of a verb are similar to the marfu and mansub states of a noun, but the majzoom state you can see in verbs, but the majroor state you will see in nouns. Verbs can't be majroor. Verbs can't be majroor state. So now coming to the three states of a verb, that is fe'lul mudari. And fe'lul mudari is the only verb which shows the i'rab. And whereas fe'lul madi and fe'lul amr, they are non-declinable, whereas fe'lul mudari is declinable. So fe'lul mudari comes under the category of mu'rab, and fe'lul madi and fe'lul amr, it comes under the category of mabni. That means they are non-declinable. Now coming to the three states of a verb and the signs at the verb endings. If it is a marfu state, that is a nominative state, the verb at the end it will show a dhamma. That is, for example, if you take yansuru, yansuru means he helps or he is helping or he will help, because it is fe'lul mudari, means it includes the present tense as well as the future tense. So marfu state it shows a dhamma. Mansub state, that is the accusative state, it shows a fatha, similar to in nouns, that is yansura. The ra last letter you will see the fatha. In the majzoom state, that is the jusive state, it will show a sukun, that is yansur. Yansur, the ra over it shows a sukun. So in the marfu state it shows dhamma, in the mansub state it shows fatha, and in the majzoom state it shows sukun. The meaning of all the three states is the same, that is yansura, yansuru, yansura, yansur. All the meanings of the three states are the same. That means he helps or he is helping or he will help. By default, all the verbs are in the marfu state. By default, all the verbs are in the marfu state. Then what is the use of i'rab when all the three states shows the same meaning that you will understand in the sentences? Now coming to verb state, which state it is and the signs of the verb endings. If you take for example yansuru, but it comes in the nasara yansuru. Nasara is the fe'lul madi, that is the past tense, and yansuru is fe'lul mudari, that is it includes present tense as well as the future tense. So since fe'lul mudari is the only verb which shows the i'rab, that is which is mu'rab, which is declinable, so we will take fe'lul mudari and will show the three states, that is the marfu state, mansub state and the majzoom state. So in singular, the marfu state is dhamma, you can see. In the mansub state you can see fatha, and in the majzoom state you can see sukun. This is the singulars. In case of dual, the marfu state is the presence of a noon. Okay, in the marfu state, the presence of a noon, that is yansurani. Presence of a noon is a marfu state. Mansub state and majzoom state are similar in dual, that is dropping of the noon. This down arrow shows that means the noon is being dropped. Okay, so when noon is being dropped, that means it is in the mansub state or in the majzoom state. In the marfu state, the noon is present in dual form. Whereas in the plural form, you can see marfu state means noon is present, that is yansuruna. So noon is present. Whereas in the mansub state and in the majzoom state, the noon is dropped. Similar to duals, here also noon is dropped. Once the noon is dropped, the alif is arzi alif, or the temporary alif is being added. You can see here. So noon is dropped both in dual form as well as in the plural form. So in dual form, in plural form, when the noon is being dropped, that means they are in the mansub state or in the majzoom state. When the noon is present, that means they are in the marfu state. As said earlier, Failul Mudari, 14 seghas or the 14 forms are there. Out of the 14 forms, 12 forms shows declination and only 2 forms which are mabni, that is which are non-declinable, similar to Failul Mazi, that is the past tense, and Failul Amar, that is the imperative tense or the command verb. That is, the 2 forms of the Failul Mudari which are non-declinable or mabni are yansurna and tansurna. Yansurna and tansurna, they are mabni, that is they are non-declinable verb. As shown earlier, you can see the green noun is known as Noonul Arab, that is the noon of Arab. These noons drops, okay, this noon drops, and you have seen the pink noon here, so it is known as Noonun Niswati. This noon of femininity, and this noon do not drop, okay, this noon do not drop. That you will come to know in the conjugation of a verb. Now the down arrow has indicated that the green noon is there, that is the noon of Arab, it is dropped, and the alif indicates the dual. So you can see here alif, this alif indicates the sign of dual, and the waw sign is there. This waw sign indicates the plural form. The waw signs indicates the plural, and the alif sign indicates the dual. And this green noon is the noon of Arab, and this pink noon you can see here. These pink noons are noon of femininity or noonun niswati. And here the yellow sign, that is a temporary alif or alif of protection also you can say, once the noon is being dropped in plural form. So here you can see Failul Mudari, all the 14 conjugation forms. So all the 14 seghas you can see starting from 1 till 14, which is being divided based on person, that is first person, second person and third person, and based on number, that is singular, dual and plural, and based on gender, that is the masculine and feminine, that is yaftahu, yaftahani, yaftahuna, till aftahu, naftahu. Yaftahu means he opens, or he is opening, or he will open. It comes from fataha, yaftahu. Fataha means he opened, that is the past tense. Aftahu means I opened, naftahu means we opened. All these 14 forms are the conjugation forms of a verb. So if we know these conjugation forms of any one verb, we can generalize these same pattern in remaining verbs. So we need to memorize these 14 forms. We'll learn this further in the conjugation of a verb. As said earlier, by default all the verbs will be in the marfu state, that is yaftahu, yaftahani, until aftahu and naftahu. The verbs are in the marfu state. So marfu state means the noon of Arab will be present. That is, this noon, presence of noon indicates that they are in the marfu state. Presence of noon indicates that they are present in the marfu state. Now coming to the mudari, that is a Failul Mudari, in its normal form is said to be in the rafa state, that is it is in the marfu state. So you can see noon present, all the noons are being present, noon forms, and those which are singular you can see dhamma over there, okay, dhamma, that is the pesh, you can see. So that means they are in the marfu state. Now coming to the mansub state. Mansub state means singular forms will have a sign at the ending is the fatha sign, you can see, and the dual forms and the plural forms they will be dropping their noons. So yaftahu, it is a singular form, dhamma you can see, it is in the marfu state, but in the mansub state it is fatha, and in the dual and the plural you can see yaftahani, that is a dual, and yaftahuna, that is a plural. So here in these two cases the noon will be dropped. So here the noons are dropped. So this means the dual and the plural are in the mansub state. So you can see here dual and plural, noon is been dropped in the mansub state. How the noons are dropped? Because of the particles following before them, because of the particles before them, coming before them, they causes these change, that is an, lan, kai, isan. These particles will cause these change, that is they cause the dropping of the noons in those forms where noon is being there. That noons will be dropped once these particles comes before the verb, and in those forms where the dhamma is there, the dhamma will be changed to fatha once these particles comes before these verb forms. An means that, lan means never, kai means like, isan means when. So these particles when comes before these verb forms, they will cause these seghas or these verb forms to change into the mansoob state. Those verb forms which have a noon, that noon will be dropped, and those verb forms which have a pesh, that will be changed into fatha, that is the zabar. Now coming to the majzoom state. Similarly, here you can see this is in the marfu state, that is noon is present and dhamma is in the singular form, and in the dual form and the plural form noon is present, that is in the marfu state. Now coming to the majzoom state, these particles similar to mansoob, these particles will come before the verb form and they will cause majzoom state. Majzoom state means the ending letter will receive a sukun or the noon will be dropped. That is, the singular forms will receive a sukun, and the dual forms you can see these noons will be dropped. Okay. Now the given verb is in the mansoob state or in the majzoom state, that will understand through the particles following before them, whether they are in the majzoom state or whether they are in the mansoob state. Because in the mansoob state as well as in the majzoom state, you can see the noon are dropped. So whether this noon is dropped and whether this verb form is in the majzoom state or in the mansoob state depends on the particles which comes before them. By seeing these particles, we can say that the given verb form is in the majzoom state, and by seeing these above particles, we can say that the noon is being dropped. But by seeing these particles, we can say that the given verb form is in the mansoob state. So here you can see lam, lamma. So lam means never, lamma is also means never. So these particles, what these particles do? These particles causes the noon forms to drop the noon, and those verb forms or the seghas which have a dhamma or a pesh, that will change into a sukun. That is, you can see sukun at the singular forms, singular seghas. So when particle lamma comes before the fi'lul mudari, it puts the verb into the majzoom state or the jusiv state. So similarly, you can see aftahu, pesh is there, so change into sukun. Naftahu, you can see pesh, dhamma is there here in the fi'lul in the marfu state, so majzoom is there. In the majzoom state, the pesh is changed into sukun. So these are the i'rab of the verb. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.